This is the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
Good evening. Welcome inside the Red Zone. Kevin Bollinger alongside Running Rebels head coach TJ Otzelberger coming to you from inside the UNLV basketball offices after a thrilling Running Rebel victory over Fresno State. A nail biter, but if you're going to break a 4-game losing streak, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, that game felt more like a backyard brawl than a basketball game. Didn't get off to the start we liked, but our guys defensively really dialed in towards the end of that first half, got some energy going, and we rolled from there.
Well, let's show you what happened in this one where it was nip and tuck the entire second half. It came down to the final 0.8 of a second.
The Runnin' Rebels had Fresno in town for a Saturday night at the MAC. The Bulldogs scored the first 6 points of the game, 5 of them from Las Vegas native Orlando Robinson. Bryce Hamilton got UNLV on the board with the spin move, and he gets the roll. But Robinson kept the pressure on, getting his second 3-point play of the game to open up an 11-point FSU lead. Vitaly Shebel and Jonah Antonio hit threes on consecutive possessions to get the deficit down. Every time UNLV scored early, Fresno answered. Nevin Hart with the and one, and then Hart drives to get the finger roll. The Rebels turn the game around at that point by getting to the rim. First, Amari Hardy shows patience, then Hamilton drives and goes glass. Donnie Tillman gets the rock as he slashes to the bucket, and Elijah Mitru-Long pulls up and drops in 2 more. Then Hardy dropping the bomb from outside for UNLV's first lead, all part of a 13-0 Rebel run. The defense holding Fresno scoreless for 6 minutes and 35 seconds during that time. But 2 late free throws by the Bulldogs gave them a 23-22 lead at the half. The Rebs got the lead right back to start the second. Hardy hit a triple, and Hamilton with the shake and bake for the bucket. Fresno answered with a 3 from Noah Blackwell and another from Hart, and Robinson got one inside. Shebel went to work, first down low for 2, then hitting from downtown. Once again, Robinson got a bucket and a bump, but Hamilton came right back, making the move, and it rolls around and down, then leaning in and going off the glass. With just over 8 minutes left, Tillman is called for an offensive foul, and TJ Otzelberger comes out on the floor and voices his displeasure, getting teed up, but adding a spark, not only to his team, but the crowd. The Rebs respond. Mitru-Long with the bunny. Hamilton from the top of the key. And Bryce again. He gets the hoop and the harm. Fresno, though, wouldn't go away. Blackwell hit 3 threes. The last one to beat the shot clock to give the Bulldogs a 3-point lead with under a minute to go. Back comes UNLV. Hardy drives for the lay-in to cut it to 1. On the other end, the defense gets a stop to set up the final play with just seconds to go. Marvin Coleman is the hero, his only field goal of the game, and it comes with 0.8 seconds left. Pandemonium at the MAC, and a hometown hero comes through in the clutch as the Runnin' Rebels snag a 68-67 win.
I hit a game winner before. It never felt like that, though. Playing for my hometown and the Thomas and Mack at home, hearing the crowd, like I said, my teammates, it's never felt that good.
We really had to hang our hats on getting stops. I think that's what did it for us. That was able to us, get out, run, play aggressive as we liked, and it worked for us. Getting stops, we were able to score.
All right, it was a slow start, as you talked about a little bit earlier, just trying to get the offensive spark, but the defense sparked the offense again. A little over 6 minutes that you held Fresno scoreless, and that led to that 13-0 run that kind of got you guys back in it.
Our guys really locked in defensively. We started switching some ball screens. We did a better job guarding the dribble. Transition, we got back, and then like you mentioned, when we're scoring, that's given us more energy as well, and I thought our guys did a great job moving the basketball and converting offensively.
So you get into the second half, and it kind of just molded its way through with both ends. You pick up the technical, and it seemed like it sparked not only your team, but it kind of got the crowd, which was in a bit of a lull throughout the game, into it as well.
We needed some energy. Our guys knew, our guys need to know that I have their back and I'm going to fight for them. And the energy was good in the gym from that point forward. So happy how our guys responded.
So it gets down to that final possession, and Fresno takes the lead. There was a little more than 12 seconds off the clock. You do have a timeout left. Obviously, your strategy is to kind of let that go and see what happens as you go baseline to baseline.
Well, we had confidence in our guys to get the stop defensively. We talked about it in the huddle. We hang our hat on defense and rebounding. We need to get one stop, get that ball out and go in transition. And with all the playmakers that we had on the floor, we talked to our guys about advance the basketball, get to the paint, get it up on the rim, and then make sure that we had Tillman and Bakke crashing on that weak side. Fortunately, Marvin didn't take that advice literally. He made the shot, and we brought home the W.
Well, on Wednesday night, the Runnin' Rebels went to one of the toughest road environments in college basketball, the Spectrum in Logan, Utah, as they took on Utah State.
The Utah State student section, known as the Herd, was out in full force Wednesday night as the Rebels ran with the Aggies. Once again, UNLV got off to a fast start. Amari Hardy dropped a triple. Then Nick Blair goes down low and goes glass. Utah State followed the UNLV quick jump with a 7-0 run, with Diogo Brito hitting a 3 and Sam Merrill driving and pulling up in traffic for the bucket. The Rebs answered with a 9-0 run of their own to retake the lead. Off the turnover, Bryce Hamilton goes coast to coast for the lay-in. Elijah Mitru Long, the no-look pass to Mbake Jong for the bucket. Hardy drives and goes off the backboard for 2, and the run was capped by this 3 by Marvin Coleman. It was nip and tuck, though, the rest of the first half. Abel Porter, the free path to the rim. Donnie Tillman would answer, though, with a trifecta, and Jong drives down low. USU's Alfonso Anderson fakes and turns to the rim for the reverse lay-in, and Merrill steals the inbounds pass and gets the easy 2. Hamilton in the lane with guys all over him gets it to go, and then connects again on the pull-up. Just before the half, Tillman fights to get inside for a deuce. The Runnin' Rebels got 11 points off turnovers in the first half, and they had balanced scoring from 6 players. They went into the locker room up 29-27. The second half started strong as well, and it started with defense. The block by Jong. Then Merrill has his shot blocked. UNLV would convert on the other end. Hamilton intercepts and scores. The lead was built back to 8. When Utah State switched to a 1-3-1 zone, the Rebel offense fell apart and the Aggies made their move. Nemius Keita uses his reach to get around Jong for the bucket. Abel Porter drove for 2, and Justin Bean dropped down a 3. UNLV would stay in it thanks to Mitru Long, who scored in the lane and connected from downtown to beat the shot clock. Utah State, though, would counter with an 8-0 run, keyed by this slam by Keita. At the 8:15 mark, Mitru Long got the steal. He headed the other way for the bucket, and that would tie the score at 48. UNLV, though, would not get another field goal for the next 6 minutes, 21 seconds, when Bryce Hamilton scored this bucket in the lane. By then, the game was all but over, as Utah State outscored UNLV in that span 16-1, doing it from outside and inside. Brito provided the exclamation point with the slam and the slap. It was a second half to forget, as the Runnin' Rebels lose in Logan 69-54.
We just had to match their intensity, man. Like they wanted it. You know, they're on the floor first. Just like, you know, Coach always emphasizes we have to be on the floor first. And, you know, whoever wants it more down the stretch late in the game like that is going to win. And I feel like that's what they did.
I thought the first half in this game, you guys really played solid on both ends of the floor. You shut down Sam Merrill again in the first half. It was kind of textbook on how to beat Utah State at their own game.
We had the half we needed. We were able to space them and drive them a little bit, get our athleticism in space and make plays for us. On the other end, our guys were really intentional, taking shooters out of their game and taking Merrill off the shots and plays he normally makes. Thought we did a great job with Keita, too, in that first half. Went into the locker room feeling like that was the half that we needed to put ourselves in position to win the ballgame.
But with about 17 minutes left to go in the game, they switched to a 1-3-1 zone, and that's really where the game kind of flipped. It seemed like your guys struggled in terms of how to attack that 1-3-1.
Yeah, I think they were really flat with how they played it, and when we told our guys have confidence knocking that perimeter shot down, so many times you know, people go to zone to kind of keep you off balance and disrupt your rhythm. And we've got to have the confidence to knock those shots down. Teams are trying to keep us out of the paint and away from the basket. And I think if we can knock some perimeter shots down early, that helps space the floor. We weren't able to do that in Logan.
You mentioned Cada. He wasn't here for the first meeting here at the Thomas and Mack, but he is a difference maker. He takes up so much room defensively in the paint, and he has gotten a lot more dynamic down low offensively.
He's the most impactful frontline player in the league. Defensively, he really contests at the rim. I mean, his size, physicality, ability and instincts to come over and make plays on the ball. And then offensively, he's scoring it at a high clip around the basket. And if you bring a double team, he's a willing passer. If you play him one-on-one, he's going to score. So he's really a force to be reckoned with and is a difference maker for them for sure.
Well, up next, the Rebels have got a big game against their rival, and then they hit the road for another rival. We're going to preview UNR and New Mexico. That's coming up on the backside of the break as the RebZone rolls on.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
A big week ahead for UNLV as the rivals from up north make their way to the MAC, and then the trip to Albuquerque for a tough one at the Pit.
The week starts Wednesday night at the Thomas and Mack as rival Reno comes to town. On January 22nd, the Wolfpack held home serve with a dominant performance and an 86-72 win. UNR's guards set the tone on both ends of the floor, dropping shot after shot while putting a lot of defensive pressure on the Rebels. UNLV will have to ramp up the perimeter pressure to make the Reno guards uncomfortable and not give them clean looks. While the first game was up north, this game is in Las Vegas, and the environment is something the Wolfpack players are well aware of.
When we played at UNLV, you know, they got all the smoke going on, they got the announcer going. You know, it really has like that Vegas feel to it. So, you know, it's just, you know, it's fun to be in that environment.
This will also be Steve Alford's return to the MAC for the first time since he was the head coach at New Mexico. It's always been a bit of a tense relationship between Rebel fans and Alford, dating back to Indiana's win over UNLV in 1987 when Alford was a player. But Alford says he has nothing but respect for UNLV and its history.
That's always been like a fan thing, I guess, because, you know, Tark, I love Tark, and we go way back because obviously we played, and obviously we ended up on the winning side of that particular game in '87, but Tark was always great to me, and I was glad they were able to win one years down the road. And every time I came back to Vegas to play UNLV, one of the first guys I always looked out for was Tark.
On Saturday, UNLV travels to New Mexico for its annual game at the Pit. The Lobos have been in a bit of a free fall during the conference season with multiple off-court issues that have plagued on-court performance. It's been tough to know what players are in or out on any given game. But one thing we do know, Paul Weir's teams will get up on you defensively while running the floor at the same time. The Rebels took the first meeting over and blew New Mexico out in the second half in a 99-78 win. But this one is at the Pit, a notoriously tough place to play. The Lobos are 14-1 there this season, and Weir wants to capitalize on the home court advantage.
Protect the Pit is something we talked about. The guys have done an amazing job of that. I think this is one of the best starts in school history. I know there's been a lot going on with our team and a lot said about our team, but that's something you can't take away from these guys. And I'm really happy for them that they're a part of a team that has broken a record so far at home. I'm proud of them, and I'm really happy for our fans because that's who we do it for.
This is a week playing two games against teams that are bunched right with UNLV in the standings. It represents a chance for some separation with the conference schedule winding down.
So Wednesday night, Reno comes to town, and when you guys were up north earlier in the season, their guards really had a phenomenal game. So I assume everything's going to try and stop their perimeter to begin with to try and stay in this one.
Well, their backcourt's as good as any in the league with those three guards, with Drew and Jazz Johnson now back, and then with Jalen Harris. They're guys that can really make shots, make plays, and you have to account for all three of them at all times. We really had a tough time with Jalen Harris. I mean, he's an elite scorer. He's leading the league conference in scoring. He can beat you from the three-point line. He gets to the goal. He can score in the mid-range, so at all three levels. So we've got to be very focused to keep all three of those guards in check from start to finish.
Environment is so important in a rivalry game, and it was hyped up in Reno. How important is it for you guys to have that same environment and for the Running Rebel faithful to get out here on Wednesday?
We've had some great home courts, and we're going to really need that advantage come Wednesday night. You know, Reno's playing well. They're a good team, and we need all the support we can have behind us. Our guys are playing hard. They're playing with passion, and we'd love for everybody to come out and support these guys. They're about the right things, and it's a big game for us, big opportunity.
Well, on Saturday, you head to New Mexico, and well documented a lot of the problems that they've been having off the court and players not being available. But they've only lost one game at home all season long. They're 14-1. Doesn't make a difference who they put on the floor. They're winning in Albuquerque.
Well, the Pit's one of the elite home court advantages in college basketball, and they've proven that this year again. Even with different bodies and some adversity, they've still been successful on their home floor. So you have to play mistake-free basketball. You have to value the ball. You can't turn the basketball over. We've got to be great on the glass, and then you have to have some timely offense and make some shots.
We're going to switch gears next in the Red Zone, talk a little UNLV football, as Vince Sapienza sat down with new Rebel football coach Marcus Arroyo to talk about National Signing Day. That's coming up next. Stay with us.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
Welcome back to the RebZone. Vince Sapienza alongside head football coach Marcus Arroyo. Coach, signing day has now come and gone. 26 new recruits for UNLV football. You rolled the dice, you bet on yourself in that first signing period by not signing anyone, and then you come in with a record-breaking class. How are you feeling with your first recruiting class?
It's great, man. I think it was an awesome day for us. A great day to be a Rebel. I think you know, we looked out for a plan and set out with a limited staff in a short time, and try to get our goals accomplished of bolstering the roster from top to bottom. And I feel like they did that.
I know you're excited about every single guy that you got, but we can't bury the lead when we talk about the highest rated recruit from the high school level, the highest rated recruit from the transfer, and Justin Rogers. I mean, setting that baseline in your first recruiting class, what message does that send, not just to the recruits, not just to the fans, but this program as a whole?
I think that the bar that was set there in regards to expectations really is the fact that you just can't limit yourself to what you think you can do. This is an amazing place with great facilities, great coaching staff, and a great conference, and an amazing city. We didn't hesitate to go after anybody, and I think Justin is a guy you use an example, and Brennan Scott and the LaShawn Bells and the list goes on of guys we feel like had maybe Power 5 offers that made it tour others. We didn't stray. We went right at it, and our guys did a great job of developing a relationship, making sure those guys fit our core values, and those guys came in and their families met us and felt like it was the right fit. We felt like it was the right fit, and we moved forward, and we're excited about that.
And I think that's the exciting part for Rebel Nation, is that you went up against Power 5 schools on multiple players, and you came out the victor. You said it in the press conference earlier this week that you're not going to shy away from what you do, and you're confident in your evaluations and going and get the guys you think can help.
Yeah, I think that we built a plan early, and we stick to the plan, and we went out and got guys that we felt fit us, and it didn't matter where they were. It didn't matter what we felt they had in line. We felt like we had to go in and build a relationship and get in the homes and meet the families and get them here and let them see our vision and our passion and how organic and enthusiastic, let alone how great of a staff we've got. I think when you really sit down and you look at the staff as a whole and what they've done, I think players really open their eyes to wow, this staff's a really experienced staff of great men, and I think that makes me really excited, because that's the feedback as a head coach you really want in regards to families and players when they leave.
And when we look at the players, we see common traits throughout. We see versatility, we see violence, we see length, we see explosiveness, but when you look at the student-athlete portion, you see that there's certain compromises that you just don't compromise with when it comes to the student-athlete portion.
Yeah, that's a huge piece of art. It's probably the top two things in character and academic integrity. that are a big part of what we want to do. It's our core values, and we don't compromise those.
How does this group help you get ready for that next recruiting class and get you ready to start recruiting here in Las Vegas, bringing the top talent that is here, staying here?
Yeah, I think that you've got to set a bar and set a standard of excellence in regards to how you're going to build your roster and who you're going to build it with, and then you have to. There's some non-negotiables when you move forward to the next class, and that's you move forward and say, hey, this is the standard, and everyone's got to be part of it. We won't neglect that, and I think that hopefully everyone saw that we did it the right way with the right people, and it'll only continue.
UNLV head football coach Marcus Arroyo, a record-shattering best class in the program's history. March 24th is spring practice. That is when we will see you and maybe even some of the recruits as well. The Red Zone rolls on right after the break.
You're watching the Fox 5 RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.
All right, Coach, good luck this week. We hope to see everybody out at Thomas and Mack on Wednesday night for Reno coming to town. We leave you tonight with the Running Rebel plays of the week. Thanks for joining us on the Red Zone. Good night.
The RebZone Sports Show, sponsored by R.C. Willey and Levitt Law Firm.